You are now listening to the Where's the Line podcast with Joseph West and Britt Dillard. Enjoy the show.
Another edition of Where's the Line. It is Tuesday, August 8th, episode number 90. My name is Britt Dillard. I'm joined here by Joseph West. How are you today?
Doing great, Britt Dillard. I've had the day off. I've been chilling, get my room clean. I got these nice group of people in the stands behind me. I'm ready to go. How about you? How was your day?
Doing good. Had sushi for lunch today, so we'll see. But
Sounds real, man.
so far so good. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to
I sound happy.
I'm happy to be alive.
Okay, good. That's better. All right, well, listen, I'll tell you who else is happy. Oregon and Washington. They joined in the Big Ten.
Your favorite conference?
How do we feel? I feel like the initial thought was how good this was for all parties. Like, I thought it was really good for the Big Ten, and I thought it was really good for Washington and Oregon.
Really bad for the Pac-12.
Really bad for the Pac-12.
Really bad for the Pac-12.
I meant when I said all parties, I just meant really those three parties. It's good for them, not good for everybody.
I think it's good for the Big Ten, as in it mixes things up. I mean, if you look at the Big Ten for the last, just say 5 years, there's been 3 teams competing. I mean, It's been, and I mean, you could even argue 2. It's been Michigan, Ohio State, throw Penn State in there. But I mean, adding Oregon and Washington, those are 2 good programs. I mean, Washington was in the playoff a few years ago. Oregon is obviously a really good football program. And I mean, the Big Ten just took advantage of a dying star that is the Pac-12. Just a lack of leadership, I guess. Lack of initiative, and they just scooped them up. They took advantage of it.
Yep. Them last 4 better find a home, because there's only one option really left, because the Big Ten or the SEC wants you. So find a new conference or create one, something.
Yeah, the SEC's done taking in people for now, at least from what I've seen. But yeah, it's pretty. I know a lot of people are. I guess the college football purists are kind of sad that things are changing, but we'll see. I mean, I think more money involved will be a better thing for the schools that are getting the money. It's just the schools that are left out.
It's gonna suck for other sports for Big Ten schools. Yeah. That's what sucks. When you're traveling to Washington, that's probably 7-hour flight, and you're getting done with your game at 11, 12 o'clock at night, flying back, getting home, having classes the next day. I mean, that kind of sucks. Not kind of, it does suck. So, I mean, there'll be some growing pains, I'm sure, but I mean, they'll figure it out. But I really like the move. I think it makes the Big Ten better. I think that the Big Ten needs some help from what we've seen lately to be what the SEC is. Remember, I don't think that the Big Ten is better than the SEC. I got asked this the other day. I don't think they're better. I just think that the gap is a lot smaller than people like to admit. That's what I say. That's my argument. But yeah, the Big Ten needs some help to, I think, be better than the SEC. And these 2 teams could make it happen, in the long run, if they start getting some big-time recruits since they join the Big Ten. Some more big-time recruits, I should say.
And since we're on the topic, haven't heard much from the ACC in terms of realignment, just kind of rumors. There's definitely some big fish there: Clemson, Florida State, Miami, big football programs. I think they're locked into a TV deal with ESPN that's pretty bad, from what I've heard. A long-term deal that was done a while back that just doesn't quite compare. And I mean, that's what this whole thing has been about is the TV deal. How much money does each school get?
Right.
What do you think about the big fish of the ACC being upset that they're getting the same amount of money as, say, Virginia?
I think you're stupid.
A team that's picked to finish last, a team that may not contribute as much to the life of the conference.
It doesn't matter. I think you have to give everybody the same amount of money. I would say that's fair. to an extent at least. For example, the reason that the NFL is the most competitive league across any other league is because they do it right. When the Titans sell a jersey, everybody gets a piece. When the Raiders sell a jersey, everybody gets a piece. When the Cardinals sell a jersey, everybody gets a piece. That's what makes the league fun. And I think especially with NIL, giving even the little guy the same amount of money, even in as something as little as a TV deal, or I mean, I know the deals are really big, but breaking it up by school, and then of course you have boosters. There's a lot of other conflicts, I guess. But my point being that if you're cutting it everybody the same, it's going to even things out. And that makes football more fun when you have more competitive games to watch.
Yeah, I'm with you. Going along with conference realignment, what two SEC teams do you think would be the first to get the boot? I know my two.
If you had to boot somebody,
yes, I think it's immediately. I think it's easy.
Okay, so I think a lot of people off the rip would say Vanderbilt, but you don't kick the charter member. You don't. I don't care what I think it would be really hard to take the school that founded the SEC and say you're gone. I don't really think that happens.
I don't think that matters. I don't think that.
So,
I don't think SEC cares about Georgia Tech or Tulane or any of those schools that founded. And
well,
Vanderbilt's not one of my two teams, so you don't have to defend yourself.
No, and they may not, but I was gonna say to that first that I think it does matter because we're the prime academic school, charter school. I think it matters, but that was my point. But the point is, I would pick Missouri because they didn't start here. They're originally not here. And that's no slack on Missouri. I mean, I'm a Missouri fan. I'm at this point. I mean, I have at least given them respect, I should say, not a fan. I do not cheer for Missouri. I hope they lose, especially when they play Vandy. But I came to at least of their liking. It's not. I'm having some mic difficulty here. I apologize. I like Pink, and some of the other people around Missouri. My bad. My mic cut out. I couldn't hear anything. But anyways, the point being that I hate to see him go, but they got to Missouri, Mississippi State.
Yep, that's it.
That's who I'm picking.
That's easy.
Starkville. No one wants to go there.
No, that's easy. Good job. We're on the same wavelength here.
We got that. We did the same two teams.
And I was starting to gain some respect for Elijah Drinkwitz until he came out this week and was being holier than thou about leaving somewhere for money, when that's what he has been known to do. But I digress. But yeah, I thought it was pretty easy with Mississippi State and Missouri. I think the next two out would be Arkansas and Texas A&M. Although I think Texas A&M kind of fits in the SEC.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Also,
something we'll never see happen.
I agree. Can we talk about, just because we didn't talk about this last week? I don't think it had happened yet. Can we talk about Ray Davis's comments towards Vanderbilt for a second? I know this was not on our original pod segment here.
But here,
Ray Davis, here is what he said. The running back for the Kentucky Wildcats played at Vanderbilt last year, if you didn't know. Had a 1,000-yard rushing, was a good player for Vanderbilt, not taking that away from him. But, quote, I like Lexington because it's more low-key. The fans, the people, when they see you in town, they love talking to you. They love communicating with you. It's always about football. It's always about UK. I love that. My previous place in Nashville, it was all about Jason Aldean and Luke Bryan. And I don't know much about them, but I damn sure know about football, and that's what Lexington's all about. First of all, Ray, let me address the very first thing you say here. Quote, I like Lexington. It's more low-key. Because it's more low-key. I'm sorry. Stop the quote for a second. My words now. Duh, it's more low-key. Nobody wants to go to Lexington, Ray. Nobody. I've never heard anybody say, let's load up the girls for the bachelorette trip to Lexington. I've never heard anybody say they want to go to Lexington. Maybe they not. I've never even heard anybody say they drove through Lexington. Everybody drives through Louisville when they're driving through your state. Nobody cares about Lexington. That's the first things first. So no wonder it's more low-key, because nobody in their right damn mind wants to go there. And I heard Will Byram said it best. He said, you know what Lexington, Kentucky has? The Phi Gamma Delta National Headquarters. That's, when you Google it, that's all you can find. That's all they have. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part is if you're going to hate on Vanderbilt, I'm fine with that. We are a lot different as far as the city that we're in. We are the only major city in the SEC. Start going through the list, you won't find another one. We're the only one. So
Yeah.
our city is a little bit different. But do not come to Vanderbilt spring game, hang out with the fans and your old teammates, and then go to Broadway with them too and hang out the whole day. And then come back and say this. Oh, I didn't really like Nashville. They ain't care about Jason Aldean's and Luke Bryan's. Well, you do too. You came to our spring game and spent the day at Broadway. So you're a hypocrite. I'm done with you, Ray. And then it's always about football. Yes, once again, because there's nothing else in Lexington to talk about besides the Kentucky Wildcats. So I'm not very impressed.
Yeah, and
That's my quotes on Ray.
let's not act like if Kentucky football failed to exist anymore, that any of them, those coal miners up there, would even care. It's
Okay.
basketball, bro.
And let me
Nobody
tell you
cares
this,
about you.
Let me tell you this. Ray Davis wanted to come back to Vanderbilt. And I didn't bring this up on Twitter. I've seen a lot of other fans did, and that's fine. I saw somebody say it's about time Vanderbilt fans start acting like a SEC fan base. I mean, they were giving Ray Davis hell in the comments. One of them said, "Man, you're only mad because you weren't smart enough to get into grad school. You wanted to come back, and he did." And I'm not saying that about him. I don't know if that was like I don't know if it wasn't that he wasn't smart enough. Maybe stuff just didn't match up. I don't know. But he could not get into grad school, and so he had to go. The Vanderbilt fans were happy. Like not with Ray leaving, but we were happy with Ray. We were mad at admissions office. I remember. I can tell you what the message board said. I can tell you what Twitter was saying. Our admissions are a bunch of idiots. They won't bend the rules for a guy who just rushed for 1,200 yards for you last year. That's stupid. We're mad at admissions, and then he's going to come and say this. I think it's stupid, and Vanderbilt will beat Kentucky this year. The defense has done been tweeting, we will beat Kentucky this year. I'm saying it right now. Kentucky's a win on the schedule every time I go through it now. Not even thinking about it 2 times. It's an automatic dub. Ray Davis will get his ass in Nashville. I'm writing it down. He may die. CJ Taylor's going to kill him. God. Oh, I'm so fired up when I see the quotes.
I will never not laugh at that dirty ass coal miner at the at the.
And the thing is, I normally I was literally I'm not a hater of Kentucky. I'm not Brit. Brit's a hater of Kentucky. He's always talking about the coal miners. He's always talking about homosexuals. He's talking about all this different stuff. I'm not. That's not me, right? I'm not doing none of that. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that this right here was stupid and the worst quote you could have possibly said. And you've given us the dub, Ray. Thank you. I appreciate that. That'll be the most fired up they come out all year, no matter what.
Do any Kentucky fans listen?
Yes, 2.
All right, well, we need to get them on here. Here.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell them I hate them. But yeah, so I just want to talk about that for a second. And Britt, by the way, I would like to comment on this because Britt said it, and I was hoping we were going to get into it about this anyway, so I'm glad he did. At the very beginning, he said, I kind of agree with him. And while I think that you can understand what he's saying here about Lexington to Nashville, because in theory, he has a point about what Nashville is. And like, when you think of Nashville today's time, the very first thing that's coming to you is not Vanderbilt, right? It's bachelorette parties, it's country music, it's whatever. And somebody can say, well, no other SEC teams have that problem. Well, yeah, no duh, they don't have that problem. They're not in a major city. No wonder Ole Miss doesn't have that problem. No wonder Tennessee doesn't have that problem. They're all college towns. They're built around the college. They are a home and grown college town.
So right? You're saying Nashville is not a college town?
I'm saying where you're at, it could be. But I'm saying we're in such a major city that like the very first thing that other people think of, like when I think of Nashville, the very first thing I think of is Vanderbilt. I'm not saying that I don't, because when I think Nashville, I think West End, I think Vanderbilt Commodores, I think a lot of our former players. Like I'm thinking through and through Vanderbilt. I'm not thinking about country music, but it's not like that throughout the nation, and that is it goes back to the point that I talk about our stand problem. No matter if our fans show up or not, away fans are always going to want to come to Nashville. Like. That's why we just face such a huge problem with being in Nashville. Not that I want to leave. I mean, I love us being in Nashville. I'm less than an hour away. But I'm just saying, we face a whole different set of problems than every other SEC school, and no one gets it or cares to understand it. And that's frustrating.
Do you want to know what I think of when I think of Nashville?
What?
And this is completely separated from Vanderbilt because I don't think of Vanderbilt because I'm not a Vanderbilt fan. When I think of Nashville, I think of drugs. I think of car
Weird.
accidents.
That's weird that you think of drugs when our county was higher ranked in drug use than theirs was. That's crazy.
And then the third thing I think of is big old fat girls in like a clear van screaming, wearing like a pink bedazzled suit.
I feel
That's
like that's
Nashville.
a really bad explanation or not explanation overview of Nashville. Super bad.
I
I
have
wouldn't say I
an
think of any of
overall
those things.
negative connotation of Nashville. When I think of Nashville, I think of Broadway.
Yeah, and
That's all.
Broadway is still fun. I don't care what anybody says. Broadway is fun. We just don't respect it because we're an hour away. That's all. I truly believe that. Just don't respect it because we're an hour away. If we lived other places, we'd want to come to Nashville, and I'll believe it. I mean, shoot, we wanted to go to Pittsburgh. Like,
Pittsburgh
I
was
definitely
nice.
want to go to
Pittsburgh was
Nashville.
awesome.
Pittsburgh was, yeah. I mean, I don't say Pittsburgh was trash. I don't think it's a better city than Nashville, but I mean, there's not a whole lot that I probably would put above Nashville that I've personally been to.
Nashville just doesn't have that city feel. Like if you go to
Yeah,
New
because we're
York
so
City,
close.
it's like it's something, it's different. Pittsburgh, another old city. Like that place we stayed in, that place was cool.
What
But like
place?
the
The house that
place
we
we
stayed in?
stayed in. Yeah.
Hell no, it wasn't.
You're not gonna find that in Nashville.
You probably could find a weird Russian lady in Nashville.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. I mean, let's get off here. What's next, bro? What's next on the agenda? We got to go. We wasting people's time.
All right, we will be back next week.
All right, we're done. No.
Okay,
No.
we will be back after these messages.
Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works.
Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup looks like, you can start creating today.
Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard.
Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and with Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions.
And best of all, it's totally free with no catch.
Ever since me and Joseph started this podcast, we chose Spotify for Podcasters. It's super easy. You don't have to know how to distribute it. You just simply edit it, upload it where you want it to go. You can edit it from the app if you want to, and then it's out. It's super easy, and me and Joseph are rich because of it. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Thank you for listening. Okay, we're back.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, we're back. And football's here.
It is.
Football's back. And I want your opinion. Was this offseason not the fastest ever?
I agree. I think it was super quick. It's flown by. I can't wait. Vanderbilt's less than 3 weeks, 2 weekends away now at this point. I mean, dude, let's go. Well, you couldn't be more excited.
And you know why it flew by? Positivity.
Very true.
Positivity.
Press J for
joy every day. Yes.
Well, Britt, so football's upon us. We got 2 weekends until Vanderbilt plays. We play on the that third weekend, and then UT the weekend after. Britt, we're both, I think, expecting our teams to continue the uptrend. Both had different years last year, with Tennessee finishing at 10-2, and then that was what it was, correct, Britt? 10-2, right? Yeah, 10-2, and then won the bowl 11-2 after that. Vanderbilt finishing the year 5-7. Britt, looking at the season, obviously you've got some key players, but if you're going to say this guy's going to have breakout numbers, or I just want to quote off the numbers I think this guy's going to have, who is it? Obviously, I think one will be the guy, but if you want to quote off anybody else, just throw them at us.
Squirrel White is my first highlight. I think Squirrel has 1,000 yards receiving and 10 touchdowns. That's the goal. 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. That's the goal. And Joe Milton. 2,700 yards, 28 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Wow. You only think he's going to throw for 2,800 yards?
I don't think he throws for as much as Hendon did.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Well, now my prediction looks a little bit crazier, but that's okay. All right. So mine, I wanted to quote AJ Swan off first. He had 1,300 throwing yards last year, but he didn't play in a lot of games. For that reason, AJ Swan, 2,400 yards passing, 21 touchdowns, and 11 picks. I think he throws a pretty good amount of picks this year. I would say. First full season, I would say he'd throw some picks. But 21 touchdowns, I'll say 10 picks. 21 touchdowns, 10 picks, 2,400 yards passing. Next one, Will Shepherd. 1,100 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns. Fred Biletnikoff winner. There it is. That's the hot take from me. Dude,
Well,
I mean,
that's a
he's
goal.
just he's not even playing in scrimmages. Like the dude's not even playing. And everybody's playing, but he's not. Like he's just on a different level. This receiving core is like Jordan Matthews. I mean, it just is. It's the best receiving core we've had since then. You can't sleep on the other guys Vanderbilt has, so you're not going to be able to double team Will Shepherd every time. And I hope secondaries don't. I dare them to leave Will Shepherd one-on-one because he will get open and he will make the catch. I will guarantee that. Will Shepherd is my pride and joy right now. Like he is. If I heard that something, God forbid, happened to Will Shepherd, the season's over. I throw in the towel right then. I completely change our win number because he's a game changer. I mean, he's the closest thing Vanderbilt's had to Jordan Matthews since Jordan
Matthews.
Well, he's a dog. I love Will Shepherd. I can't wait. I hope he has a great year. Hope he finishes as like a high second round pick. I think is where he could go if he has a good year this year. So yeah, Will Shepherd, man, love that guy.
And what's wrong with us? I feel like
Will Shepherd fan club.
something's wrong with me.
I'm fired up. You got no energy.
I'm sitting
You
here
don't care
drawing
about
my
your football
signature on this paper here.
Yeah, you don't care about your football team. That's wild.
It's
It's horrible.
It's crazy that I talk about football a lot, and people are like, "You don't even." I'll like hate on somebody, and they're like, "You don't even like the team." I'm like, if you knew how much money I spent on this team, I like this team.
Yes.
Okay. And like, just because you hate on somebody, just because you think somebody sucks, doesn't mean that you're less of a fan than someone else.
Agreed. And I will say now that NIL is a thing, you can most definitely always refer to your football team as we. Especially if you donate to NIL. Or if you're a season ticket holder, you can talk about your team as we. I was never on the side that you couldn't, but if you were, change your mind right now. Because fans can literally make not only a difference on game day, but now they can make a difference with what players you get by donating money.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never thought of that.
Yeah. If you ever had a doubt, change it. I mean, that's my take on it.
I'm just so ready.
You're
I'm
so ready for football
to just
You
be
can't
there.
even. Oh yeah, it'll be amazing. I can't wait, man, for when I get inside of the construction zone at First Bank Stadium and I show up to the gate and they give me that hard hat they're giving out and I put that hard hat on and I'm so glad they're poking fun at themselves. I couldn't love it more from Vanderbilt. A thing I've been begging for us to do. Poke some fun at your history. Have fun with it as we get better because we're going to. We're on the hill. Give me the hard hat. I'm strapping it on and I'm going to work when I get inside of Vanderbilt Stadium. I am. I will be so loud. I will be obnoxious. I will be disruptive. And when we win, I will be. I can't even explain my feelings. It's yeah. I mean, I'm going rage mode. I don't know a word to describe it or an adjective to give
Yeah,
for my.
I can't wait.
My
I can't wait to
mood.
see the people that I sit near. There's a lady that sits behind me that just grabs me the whole game. Just, I mean, just feeling me up. Just scratched a big gash into my neck in the Florida game. I
Gracious,
mean,
oh
just
man.
Just craziness. I'm ready to go to Cool Beans. I'm ready to get a smoky
your
dog.
background.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Vanderbilt Stadium to look like this, although not exactly like this because we ain't got those stands that you can see right in the back behind my head. But we're gonna do something like this.
Yeah, you guys, if you are not already, listen on Spotify.
Very true. You can watch us now.
If you listen on Spotify, one, it's better for us.
True.
Just statistically, it's better for us, and two, you'll get to watch the video.
Yes, you can. And usually we're pretty animated. Tonight it's been kind of weak. I mean, I got animated by Ray Davis, but I mean, Britt,
Yeah.
I know next week we're gonna do our schedules. We're gonna go over win-loss record for Vanderbilt and UT, and just kind of see what we think, how the season's gonna go. Man, just a quick peek at it, real quick. Quick peek, looking at both schedules. Who's that game that scares you? That could be that could possibly be maybe the season turns for the worst if this game goes bad. For on both schedules. For UT, I'm really obviously I think the easy answer is Florida because it's at Florida. Florida's not going to be good, but I don't even know the year the last time Tennessee beat Florida in the Swamp, and that's not me saying anything bad about them. I just literally couldn't tell you.
No, I want to say Casey Clausen was our quarterback the last time we beat Florida in the Swamp.
It's been a second, and that's why I think you lean there. But I mean, there's a few other games I think you could circle on Tennessee's schedule too. South Carolina because it's at home and they kind of embarrassed you last year.
Yeah, I think it's Florida and Missouri.
Yeah, and Missouri is a game that I've pointed to a lot just because of where it's at in the schedule. Being right after that non-conference game and right before Georgia, UT has a pretty good chance to be undefeated or with one loss. And then if you only have one loss and you beat Georgia, you're looking at SEC title game. I just think that Missouri game is in a real bad spot, and that's why I've always had that one circled. But I might still say Florida, even though I think it's the lazy take or the easy answer.
No, I think it's a good answer. What's wild to me is Tennessee fans, after 1 year of real success, we assume that we're going to go into the Georgia game undefeated.
That is very true.
And I'm not there yet. I'm
Me
not there
neither.
yet. I know I love Joe Milton. I respect Joe Milton. We don't know what Joe looks like as a starter. Or I mean, we do. We've seen him as a starter, and it didn't last long. So, I mean, I'm not all the way there saying that we're going to be undefeated going into that game against Georgia at home.
I mean, I think personally UT has a loss. I don't like them against Alabama. But I don't want to get into that. I don't want to steal all of our thunder for next week. So actually, I'm just going to stop talking right there. But yes, I do get what Britt's saying. I think that's frustrating too because then if you have two losses when you come to the Georgia game, and everybody's like, oh, this season's a failure, and I don't necessarily think if UT goes 9-3 that it is a failure. Matter of fact, I wouldn't say it's a failure at all. You lost the best quarterback's had since T. Martin, and that you could easily take a step backwards, and that's not anybody's fault.
No, I mean, I said on here several months ago that I think 9-3 I think I would feel good with 9-3.
Right.
Just with what the trajectory you're on.
Right.
And it's crazy to say with Joe Milton just because how excited we are about him this year, but it's almost like he's a stepping stone to the next step.
Right.
To Nico. And that's crazy. That's crazy to say, but I mean, I think it's true.
Right. So we got UTs. I guess we settled on Florida. Looking at Vanderbilt's schedule, Britt, do you have an idea on who it might be for you? Looking at the schedule,
I think Vanderbilt's trajectory. I'm gonna switch around. I think the game that is most important for the trajectory of Vanderbilt football is South Carolina. I think you need to beat South Carolina.
I would love to beat South Carolina. Anyone who knows me knows I hate South Carolina because the last time we beat them, I was 9.
Yeah.
I was 9 years old. I want everybody to think about that.
Yeah. It's been 6 years.
I'm about to be yes, I'm 15 now. I'm about to be 23 years old in a month. And the last time we beat them, I was 9.
Shout out 9/11.
Yeah, sure. That is my birthday. But I think that the most important game on this season is Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Because I think that you go to Wake Forest, you beat them, you come back, or then you go on the road to Vegas, beat them, come home, you're 4-0 with Kentucky coming to town, and the boys are rallied to beat Ray Davis, and you beat them, you're 5-0. Then hold on, because confidence can go a long way. I mean, shoot, we've seen it with Kansas last year. We've seen it with teams in the past on what can happen when the boys just get some confidence behind them. Sometimes guys just start playing unreal, like way above their talent. Let's be honest. We've seen it in college football before. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's why it's the most important game. I think it could just snowball into, holy crap, Vanderbilt is this record, which I think we will get to see a preview next week when I give what I think will be. But yeah, it could be a lot of fun. I would say Wake Forest, but I do like South Carolina too. If we beat them, I'd be so happy.
Well, if Vanderbilt starts 5-0, beats Kentucky to get to 5-0, then you've got 3 winnable games left. You've got
I agree.
Or 3 that are definitely winnable. And that's Missouri, South Carolina, and Auburn. We don't know what Auburn is yet.
Yeah, and what about Florida?
I'm not even thinking about Florida. There's 4. There's potential for.
I've said the same thing.
If everything goes perfectly, 8 or 9 wins.
Yes. I've said that I thought 9 was pushing. Vanderbilt played their best football all year. They never missed a beat. They go 9-3. You lose to UT, Georgia, Ole Miss, probably. That would be my 3 that I would guess. Maybe switch out Missouri for Ole Miss, but I like Missouri more. We have it at home. But, I mean, obviously that's not my record or anything. But, I mean, I think that's the ceiling. The absolute everything goes your way ceiling. Some teams play bad. You catch teams on a bad week. A fumble at the half-yard line. Like, you're going to need stuff to go your way. But, I mean, shoot. Just for the record, UT had some stuff go their way last year. I mean, from the kickoff of the LSU game, it was over. It was over. They never looked back after LSU fumbled that kickoff. They took the momentum and they ran. And I mean, but the great teams have stuff go their way. They just do. And I mean, like Bama, what years was it that Bama went back to back? 19 and 20. Did they win right before the COVID year and the COVID year?
I think so, yeah.
No. I think the last time back to back was before that.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow. Right. Burrow in 19. Well, regardless, they almost got beat several times that season. I think it was like 2 or 3 games they had within a touchdown. And I was just like, they got lucky a few times. Just like even last year, they got lucky a few times. And I mean, they were a solid team. But yeah, sorry, ranting here. But I'm so excited for football. I can't describe it. Vanderbilt's just been dogging it out in practice. So excited for the young guys. Looks like some young guys are going to get to play on defense. Yeah, man. Golly, what can I say? I'm so ready.
Do young boys get you excited?
That's quite the question. I feel like I'm being interviewed by Caleb Presley right now.
Yeah.
They do not. But freshmen in college, true freshmen starting on the football field, does make you excited for your football team's future. I have to be very specific to not get called a predator. So let me specify.
To get called a MAP, a minor attracted person. That's the politically correct.
That's what
term.
I meant.
A MAP. A MAP. But I do have some submissions for That's Crazy.
That's good because I always have some.
Number 1, wearing Under Armour. That's crazy.
What if you're like in middle school?
Rest in peace, South Carolina, Auburn Under Armour schools. It's very unfortunate. Notre Dame as well. Next, saying or displaying the words "Let's go, Brandon." It's pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
That's pretty crazy. And the third and last one, if you listen to any sort of political rap.
That's crazy.
And it's only right. It's only right wing. That's the only people that are making
so
raps.
bad. It's so bad. I have one. Finding a vibrator in the 7th grade girl's bathroom at an undisclosed school. That's
What
crazy.
were you doing there?
I wasn't there. I was not the founder. I just read that on the internet, but that's literally crazy. 7th graders with a vibrator. What is going on in schools these days? I don't know, but I know we weren't doing that when I was in 7th grade. So that's crazy.
You didn't have a vibrator in 7th grade?
No, I can't say that I did, man. I can't say that I did. I didn't even know what a vibrator was till I was like a sophomore in high school, maybe a junior. So no. Yeah, I mean that's crazy. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, we're screwed.
About what?
Our future, our
Oh
kids
yeah,
are screwed.
it's over. I mean they'll just let. I mean yeah, it's over. It's just done. The only hope that we can have is that like good people like me have a bunch of kids and they just take over the bad kids. That's the only option.
Yeah, we got vibrators in the
7th grade
bathroom. We got blueies, transgender, and I saw a bag of not Cracker Jacks, but Cracker Janes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Good for her. Good for her. I'm not mad. Good for her.
I'm not mad, but who was mad that there wasn't a female version of Cracker Jacks?
I agree. I agree though. But once again, who cares?
Yeah, it's just like with Hispanic people, like we call them, people have tried to say Latin X, and Hispanic people are like, no, we don't want to be called Latin. You know, you say someone's a Latino or a Latina.
Yeah.
Well, they said to make it not gender specific, they said Latinx, but there's already Latin. Like Latin isn't gender specific.
Okay. Whoever I've not seen that, but if you think that, you're wilding. We gotta get you out of something. I don't know what, but we gotta get you out.
Yeah, Latinx has been a thing for a while.
Okay. Well, that's crazy. That's a good submission.
That is crazy. It's a good submission. But the train has become derailed.
On what? What train?
On this podcast.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, we're so excited for football, but I can't get into what I want to get into because it's next week. I mean, it's that simple. It's next week.
I'm so excited for football and I have so much to say about football that I have nothing to say.
That's crazy. That's gonna be on a submission.
The amount of information that I consume on a daily basis, by the time I get on here, I've already thought through every scenario. I have nothing else to say.
Oh yeah, I'll think about Vanderbilt 24/7 though. So like even when I'm out of stuff to say, I just think of new stuff. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to my sister this week, and she was like, Taylor Swift is coming back to like Louisiana or something for another leg of her tour. She was like, do you want to come with me? And I was like, and if you know my sister, she's kind of obsessed with that. And I was like, no, that'd be kind of like you coming to the Tennessee-Alabama game with me. And she was like, but I love that you're so like obsessed with it. I was like, no, it's not a good thing. Like, it's not healthy.
Oh, okay.
If you hear tipping and tapping, my dog has to use the bathroom.
Yeah, well, Rizzo needs to stop.
Yeah.
But listen, basically, get through the week. I'm gonna encourage y'all for a second. Get through this week, okay? And then next week, listen to this podcast. And then by the time you get done listening, the week's over. The week of football will be starting, and Vanderbilt will play on that Saturday, and we'll be fired up. And that's all. And then the week after that, this podcast goes back to twice a week, and then we're fired up for real.
Imagine if this podcast existed when Tennessee got beat by Georgia State.
Or Vanderbilt lost to ETSU.
That would have been good. That would have been some good stuff.
That would have been great stuff. Great stuff. But yeah, I mean, listen, thank y'all so much for listening to episode 90 of Where's the Line. It's been myself, Joseph West, and Brett Dillard.
Britt Dillard.
And we hope you guys simply have a great one.
Have a good day.